Hi everyone, I'm Yu Rou and they are my group members. Let me start with simple questions. How many of you check your Instagram, TikTok or Facebook today? Mostly most of us, right? This shows how closely young people are connected to the world today. In this globalized society, we are no longer influenced only by our family, school or local community. Through social media, we are constantly exposed to global culture, lifestyle, language, and values. Globalization brings many positive effects. It allows young people to become more open-minded, creative, and aware of cultural diversity. It also helps us understand different perspectives and communicate with people from different backgrounds. However, globalization also brings some concern. When young people are constantly exposed to global culture, they may feel solely less connected to their own traditions, national identities, and moral values. Therefore, the main issue is not whether globalization is good or bad. The real question is, how can young people balance global influence with their own cultural roots and moral responsibilities? This is why this study is important. It helps us understand how globalization shapes the identity, behavior, and value of young people. At the same time, this study is useful for young people, educators, families, and policymakers. It reminds us that nationalism and traditional values should not be promoted in a strict or forced way. Instead, they should be presented in a meaningful, inclusive, and relatable way. Also, this study encouraged young people to be global-minded while staying connected to their own roots, respecting their cultural heritage and maintaining their moral responsibilities. Now, I will move on to the next presenter.
Hi, I'm Wei Han. Now I will discuss how globalization influences the cultural identity of young people. With the development of globalization, cultural exchange among different countries have become more frequent. Young people can easily access information, value, and lifestyle from all the world through the internet and social media. One of the most significant effects of globalization is the influence of Western media on youth culture. Television, music, movie, and the internet are important channels of spreading global culture. Platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube influence how young people view the beauty, success, and personal value. The lifestyle and fashion trend promoted by Western celebrity and influencers can often seen as a symbol of success and modernity. As a result, many young people adopt Western lifestyle, beauty standard, and value. This situation may lead to a cultural identity crisis, as young people around the world watch the same show, listen to the same music, and follow the same online trend. Cultural differences become less distinct. Although globalization promotes the cultural exchange and understanding, it may also weaken young people's sense of cultural identity. Local traditional and cultural value may become less important as Western culture becomes a common standard for mixturing modernization and success. However, the effects of globalization are not entirely negative. Through technology, education, and international communication, young people can gain broader perspective and become more open-minded. They can learn about different cultures, appreciate diversity, and develop greater awareness for global issues. Globalization can also create opportunity for the international education and cultural exchange, allowing young people to reconstruct and develop their cultural identity through the exposure of different cultures. Now I will pass the time to Xuan to continue the present.
Globalization has not only affected cultural identity, but it has also reshaped the moral values of young people. Through international media and digital platforms, young people are increasingly exposed to values and lifestyles that differ from their own cultural traditions. As a result, significant change in attitudes and behaviors can be observed. Firstly, globalization has contributed to the increasing subjectivity of moral values. In the past, moral standards were mainly guided by religion, local culture, and social norms. However, constant exposure to global content has encouraged young people to place greater importance on personal freedom, individual choice, or self-expressions. Consequently, moral judgments are no longer viewed as fixed standards but are often seen as personal decisions. For example, issues such as cohabitations before marriage are now more likely to be viewed as a matter of personal autonomy rather than a morally wrong behavior. Secondly, globalization has led to the normalizations of behaviors that were previously considered inappropriate. Through long-term exposure to social media, films, and online content, young people are now more familiar with different cultural practice and social behaviors. Although this may challenge traditional values, it has also encouraged greater tolerance, diversity, and inclusiveness. Young people today are generally more willing to respect different lifestyles and believe without judging others based on traditional social norms. Lastly, globalization has transformed youth behavior and social norms. Compared to previous generation, young people prioritize more on personal goals, self-fulfillment, and individual achievement, while traditional societies often emphasize family obligations and collective responsibilities. Today's youth place greater importance on personal development and independence. I'm Huishan, and next I will pass to my group members.
In today's globalization world, it's easy for young people to become more connected to their global trends than their own culture and national identity. So, how can national philosophies help strengthen unity and cultural belonging among young people? Hello everyone, my name is Catherine. Today, I'll be presenting the way that national philosophies promote unity and cultural belonging among young people. Firstly, national philosophies provide shared values that unite people from different ethnic, religious, and cultural backgrounds. In Malaysia, the Rukun Negara serve as a common foundations that encourage mutual respect, harmony, and responsible citizenship. Through civic education in school, students learn these values and understand the importance of respecting diversity while working together as one nation. Secondly, national philosophies help young people maintain their cultural identity in the area of globalizations. Today, social media and international trends can sometimes make youth forget their own traditions and heritage. By promoting local history, language, traditions, and cultural programs, national philosophies encourage young people to appreciate and preserve their cultural identity while respecting others' own culture. A good example is Malaysia National Day celebration at the Rukun Negara Youth Tour 2026. These programs bring together young people from different backgrounds to celebrate the national diversity, strengthen patriotism, and encourage active participation in nation building. Traditional festivals such as Hari Raya Aidilfitri, Chinese New Year, and Deepavali also allow young people to learn about different cultures while strengthening their own cultural identity. In conclusion, national philosophies help unite young people through shared values while encouraging them to appreciate and preserve their cultural heritage. By embracing these values, young Malaysians can build stronger relationships, celebrate diversity, and contribute to a more united and harmonious society. That's all from me. And now, I'll pass the presentation to the next presenter. Thank you. Let's go!
Ew, look at her. What kind of outfit is this?
Oh my god, let me take a picture and post on my social media.
Wait, before you post that, have you ever thought about how can your decision affect someone else? Bullying, whether face-to-face or online, often begins with a decision. So, what can guide young people to make the right choice? My name is Wai Yen, and I will be presenting about how can national philosophies promote ethical conduct among young people.
In today's globalized world, young people face many ethical challenges, not only online, but also in their daily lives. These include bullying, dishonesty, misinformation, and also responsible social media use. Such challenges influence how young people treat others and make decisions, highlighting the need for ethical guidance. National philosophies provide shared values such as honesty, respect, responsibility, and integrity, which act as moral compass for young people. These values can be reinforced through education, particularly subjects such as political moral, political civic, where students learn to think critically about ethical issues and understand the consequences of their actions.
One real-life example is the anti-bullying campaign organized by Any Martial Arts in 2024. The campaign encouraged students to choose empathy over bullying and respect over discriminations. This demonstrates that ethical conduct begins with the decisions we make every day. Before speaking, posting online, or treating others unfairly, young people should consider whether their actions reflect the values promoted by our national philosophy.
In the end, national philosophies cannot stop bullying on their own, but they can shape the values that guide our decisions. When young people practice moral values in their daily lives, they not only demonstrate ethical conduct, but also contribute to building a more caring and a harmonious society. And that's all for me. Let's pass to the next presenter.
Hey, are you doing a traditional culture event this weekend?
No, I'd rather stay at home and watch TikTok or K-pop videos.
Why?
Traditional culture feel outdated. I prefer modern trends and think that everyone should be free to choose what they like.
That's exactly why promoting nationalism and traditional cultural values among young people has become more challenging. Good morning everyone, I'm Jorryn, and today I will be presenting the challenges of promoting nationalism and traditional cultural values among young people. In today's rapidly changing world, many young people see traditional culture and values as outdated and less relevant to modern life. Influenced by global trends and popular culture, they are more interested in modern lifestyle, entertainment, and technology than in preserving traditional customs. This should make it more challenging to promote nationalism and traditional cultural value among the younger generation. Globalization and digital technology have made it easier for young people to connect with people and culture around the world. Through platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, they are constantly exposed to international trends and lifestyle. As a result, many youth develop a stronger global identity and may feel less connected to their own national culture and traditions. Another challenge is the changing values of today's younger generation. Many young people place greater importance of personal freedom, diversity, and individual expression. Instead of accepting traditional beliefs automatically, they tend to question or selectively adopt them based on their own perspective. Therefore, promoting nationalism and traditional cultural values require approaches that are more relevant and meaningful to young people today. In conclusion, changing perception of tradition, the influences of globalization and digital technology, and evolving social values have made it more challenging to promote nationalism and traditional cultural values among young people. However, with the right education and engagement, young people can still appreciate and preserve their cultural heritage while embracing the modern world. That's all for me. Let's pass to next presenter.
Excuse me, we're filming something about a cultural heritage event happening in our school today. Are you going to join?
I don't know. I think I will not going.
Why? It sounds meaningful.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't connect any traditional culture as much anymore.
Good morning everyone, I'm Mei, and today I'm going to present about how national identity is changing in a globalized world. And one major change is that young people today are not longer shaped only by their natural culture. With the rise of social media and globalization, they are constantly exposed to different cultures, values, and lifestyles from around the world. Because of this, identity has become more hybrid and flexible. Young people often combine local culture with global influences, forming identities that are shaped by multiple cultural sources rather than just one national background.
Another key change is how digital media affects cultural participants. And today, many young people experience culture mainly through platforms like TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. And instead of actively participating in community service or festival, it's often consumed online. As a result, cultural experience become more passive, and which more reduce real-life participation and weaken the tradition between generations. Another important point is the rise of global communities. Young people are increasingly connected to online communities, fandoms, and international trends rather than their national culture. And their sense of belonging is now shaped more by interest and online networks instead of geography or nationality. This makes identity more fluid, but it can also reduce attachment to national identity. In conclusion, national identity is not disappearing, but it is being reshaped by globalization and digital media. It is becoming more hybrid, flexible, and influenced by global culture. Young people today are constantly negotiating between local tradition and global influences in shaping who they are.
And that's all from me. I will pass it to next presenters. Thank you.
Hello everyone, and I'm Guan and I will be presenting the final part of our study, and this includes our research question, research objective, and finally the conclusion. Before I conclude, let's revisit the question that guided our study. This is our question. First, how does globalization influence the cultural identity and moral values among young people? Second, how can national philosophies promote unity, cultural belonging, and ethical conduct among young people? Last, what are the challenges of promoting nationalism and traditional cultural values among young people in a globalized society? So, to answer this question, our study aims to first examine how globalization influences the cultural identity and moral values of young people. Second, analyze how national philosophies promote unity, cultural belonging, and ethical conduct among people. And last, to identify the challenge of promoting nationalism and traditional cultural values among young people in a globalized society. In conclusion, globalization has brought both opportunities and challenges to young people. It has allowed them to become more connected to the world, exposed them to diverse culture and ideas. However, it has also influenced their cultural identity and moral values and may weaken their connection to local traditions and national identity. National philosophies, such as the Rukun Negara, continues to play an important role in promoting unity, cultural belonging, and ethical responsibility among young people. Nevertheless, promoting nationalism has become more challenging because many young people today value personal freedom, self-expression, and global identities. Therefore, the solution is not to reject globalization, but to find a balance, embracing global perspective and preserving local cultural values. By doing so, young people can become globally aware, culturally grounded, and ethically responsible citizens. That's all for our presentation. Once again, thank you for listening.